death has come to you, but life can be regained. I will guide you through madness to the light. Follow the pillar of light.
What's cracking with you people? Anansi here, and welcome back to the Jade Empire. In the last one, we rescued Master Li and defeated Sun Hai, only for our own master to betray and kill us in the end. There was a lot more to the glorious strategy than we initially thought. Chapter 5, wherein the water dragon intervenes, true history is revealed, and the spirit monk legacy is proclaimed. The defeat of Emperor Sun Hai was supposed to set things right, but with one careful blow, Master Li left you crumpled on the floor, upon his carefully plotted revenge. The spirit realm stretches before you, but a beacon in the distance calls. You are not yet lost to the living. Just as Emperor Sun Hai warned us, there was a lot more going on than we initially thought. If you remember back to the very not first episode, but I want to say the second episode, when we were first talking to Sun Li about our destiny, and our role in things to come, there was a question that we asked him. And I believe the question went along the lines of, but why did this spirit appear to me?
Your master betrayed you, as he once betrayed his brother. A revenge years in the planning.
Yes. And in that time, when we asked him that question, he stammered a bit, trying to think of an answer on the fly. He had not expected us to ask that question because every one of his responses, everything he did, was premeditated for this. Dawnstar's upbringing was premeditated to complement our abilities to hopefully guide us to this point. He probably didn't anticipate his own niece getting us into the fortress. This is one of those Eisen situations.
He trained you to fight a tyrant, but with a flaw. He wanted you vulnerable in your moment of triumph.
But even the fighting style he taught us. But yes, everything was according to his plan. He knew we would make it to the palace eventually. He knew we would confront the emperor. And as the Water Dragon said,
the dragon amulet is in his hands, reassembled. He will consume my power, but all is not lost. Seek my light.
Yeah, all this was just his way to become emperor for all intents and purposes. And if you remember, throughout the entire game, everybody that we fought who wasn't at the not even that, even in the academy, every opponent we fought made the same comment. Our fighting style has a hole in it that baits its opponent into looking for one that isn't there, ultimately defeating them by their own desperation.
Your master claims the throne and my power. He will rule as a god unless he is stopped.
But yeah, there is always a flaw, and that flaw was put there by mistake. There always was a flaw. We just didn't know about it because he never told us about it. He devised a fighting style so simple, so perfect, that you think there was a flaw there, and there was one there. But unless you know where to look for it, you'd never know where it was.
You have done well, mortal, but your journey is far from over. Time grows short, and we must act quickly if we are to stop your Master Li.
What's going on here?
Your master, Sun Li, the glorious strategist, betrayed you. He killed you to claim the power of the Emperor, my power, as his own. You are dead. I am the Water Dragon, immortal guardian of the path to the underworld. I shepherd the dead, leading them to my holy temple in Dirge, the gateway to the afterlife. But 20 years ago, the Emperor and his brothers attacked Dirge. They burned my temple, slew my servants, and defiled my body so the Emperor could claim my power. When Emperor Sun Hai fell, I reclaimed some of my power, enough to call your spirit here. But now I am fading once more. Sun Li consumes my energy.
Why would Master Li betray me?
Your former master has long desired power, to impose his will on the Empire. His plan took years to form, but the prize was too grand to let go to waste on his brother's madness. He consumes my essence to become a god, but he does not yet fully control his power. That is why I could bring you here, and why we can speak now. My strength wanes. We must act quickly. For you to fulfill your destiny, I must send you to Dirge now, while Sun Li struggles to control his newfound power.
If he planned all this, his life has spanned years.
The glorious strategist knows patience. Li has planned this for 20 years. When Dirge fell, he rescued you only because he believed you were a tool he could use. You will learn this and more, but we must move quickly. When he discovers what I have done, he will try to seal this realm and prevent me from sending you to Dirge.
You're sending me to Dirge? Why me?
My temple at Dirge is defiled. I do not have the power to restore you to life, but I can send your spirit to Dirge, so you may cleanse the taint corrupting my holy sanctum. Hurry! If you restore the fountains of Dirge, I can restore you to life. If you do not, Master Li will become unstoppable. Seek out Abbot Song. He will help you. Restore the fountains of Dirge. Restore my power, and I will speak to you again.
Whew, so yeah, there we go. The Emperor Sun Hai sought to step beyond his station and steal the power of a god. And it all comes out in the wash. Sun Li wanted to be emperor. He didn't want to settle for being the leader of the empire, of the imperial army. So he betrayed Sun Hai. But what happened to Sun Ken? We still don't know. And here we are at Dirge. The final act begins. A barrier blocks us. We can not go through that to, well, do whatever. But Gem of Premonition. You might be wondering, can we still use our gems? Yes, we can. Yes, we can still use our gems. The Gem of Premonition. +1 to mind. Minus 50% trap evade focus cost. This gem's inner structure does not appear similar to any other essence gem, and there are no records of it ever having been created. Interesting. So this is a one of a kind. Its origin is a mystery, as is the nature of its power. It appears to give the wielder a glimmer of the future, enabling its user to move away from coming harm. It does not remove the danger, but makes danger easier to avoid. Now, remember, we actually do have one gem like this. Let's see if I can find it. There's a warrior gem. Average quality gem provides a good bonus to your body. I believe it's not the Iron Skin. I believe it's the Gem of the Thief set. Oh no, this one's tech traps. Slick gem, minus 10% focus cost. So basically, gem of premonition is just a better slick gem. If you want to use it, you can. We're pretty much at a point we don't really need it though, but you can. Oh, great, we're fighting demons here. So Dirge, I'm guessing Dirge over the 20 years has just become a breeding ground for let's take care of you first. Yeah, I might be in trouble here.
Spirit thief.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Legendary strike.
Thought that would work. Turns out not. I might die here. You don't have any of our companions, so we're gonna have to kind of fight this thing. I think I should have enough. I think I should have enough. I think I should have enough health to take this thing out. But man, oh man, I'm going to need a refill after this. Okay, yeah, we're going to need a refill after this. Chi! Thank you. Healing, 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 healing. Just going to max that out. There we go. Ghost locked in perpetual battle.
This cannot be. Is it really possible? I sense the mark of the water dragon upon you. You have returned.
Are you Abbot Song?
I am the spirit of Abbot Song, slain many years ago by the glorious strategist. Before my death, I was the head of the Spirit Monk Order. Your order.
The glorious strategist. You mean Master Li?
Master Li? He is Sun Li, the traitor. How out of balance the world has become when one of our order believes Sun Li to be his master. You are a spirit monk, born here in Dirge and cleansed in the sacred fountains. You were an infant the day the Emperor and Sun Li attacked our monastery. I tried to save you from the slaughter, only to lose you to Li when he ripped you from the arms of your dying guardian.
I guess my whole life has been a lie.
I can only imagine what lies and distortions he told you about Dirge, your heritage, and his own role in events here. But now, you deserve to hear the truth. 30 years ago, the long drought struck the land. For a decade, crops withered and died. Starving people across the Empire demanded that something be done. Despite his position, Emperor Sun Hai could not alter the natural order. He demanded that his brother, the glorious strategist, concoct a plan to rectify this insult. Through Sun Li's cunning, the armies of the Emperor laid siege to the gates of Dirge. They came to seize the Water Dragon's power and her life-giving waters.
The Emperor must have been mad to think this was acceptable.
The soldiers of the Imperial Army swarmed over us, too many to count. My spirit monks fought bravely. but I knew the battle was lost. We were beaten. All around me, my fellow spirit monks were dying. I tried to hold the attackers at bay. Prince Kin attacked me, and then Master Li cut me down from behind. The Emperor ascended unopposed, but already Sun Li and Prince Kin plotted against him. The glorious strategist was not content to watch his brother come to power. Emperor Sun Hai, ruler of the Jade Empire, stepped beyond his station and slew the water dragon, claiming her power for his own. His brothers tried to strike him down, but they could not know he would be so strong. Infused with the water dragon's power, he was now unbelievably powerful. Sun Li escaped with his life, but he left his brother, Prince Kin, to suffer the Emperor's terrible vengeance. A spirit monk child still lived. He killed your guardian. Claiming his identity, no longer a servant of the Emperor, Li abandoned his fearsome armor to become the master you thought you knew. If you and the amulet were the key to defeating his brother, he might still claim that power. Li disappeared with you and the amulet, escaping the Emperor's retribution. With his newfound power, the Emperor, as a taunt to his traitorous brother, bound Kin's spirit to the armor Li had left behind. And Death's Hand was born. You were the last of the spirit monks. Sun Li saw our attempt to save you as confirmation of your importance. He believed you were meant to restore what he helped steal. He trained you to be an instrument of vengeance, an agent to succeed where he and Prince Kin had failed. But with your death, the Emperor is now invincible.
I see why he's called the Glorious Strategist. Now he has a god's power.
Then the glorious strategist has won. You were the last of the spirit monks. But now you are just a ghost like the rest of us. No one is left to oppose Sun Li.
The water dragon will bring me back if I restore the fountains of Dirge.
You spoke with the water dragon? Of course! Only she could guide your spirit to Dirge, while all others must wander the mortal world. I worried that our last hope had died with you, but now I see you have come to restore the fountains of Dirge. The first step in restoring the water dragon herself. As leader of the spirit monks in life, I am bound by honor and duty to aid you in this task. I swear I will not abandon you until the fountains of Dirge are restored.
I am honored to have you with me.
I can guide you here in Dirge, this lost home of yours. I know the monastery well, and will do everything in my power to help you restore the fountains.
How am I supposed to restore the fountains?
The fountains were tainted with human blood, which shattered their seals. The blood that stained them is gone. Replacing the seals should restore them.
I want to ask you some questions.
I know the monastery well. If there are questions you wish to ask in your quest to restore the fountains, I will do my best to answer them.
Do you have any advice for me?
Only that you should do as the water dragon asked, and try to restore the fountains of Dirge.
Let's see. I want to know more about my amulet.
The amulet is an artifact of great power, though few truly understand its nature. What do you wish to know?
I saw Lee take it from me. How can I still use it?
The amulet is a powerful tool, but it is only a tool. When you were first learning to unleash the power within you, the amulet helped you to focus your mind and energy. But you are a spirit monk. The power of the water dragon was always in you, not in the amulet. Now you are strong enough to draw on that power without the amulet.
So, basically, the amulet was just a conduit. The power that you were using to bring out the essence gems, that was yours. All the amulet did was just make it easier for you to do it. If the power was mine, what does the amulet do?
It is a tool and a focus. It allows you to understand the power you can wield, and to use the essence gems that so many discount as trinkets. We alone can draw on more than one gem at a time. You can do this, even without the physical amulet, now that you know your true nature.
Okay. If the amulet is only a focus, why did Lee take it from me?
You no longer need the amulet, but Lee has a use for it. Lee's brother, Sunhai, consumed the water dragon's power, but without the amulet, it was a long and slow process. Even after 20 years, he was not strong enough to defeat you. Had the Lotus Assassins brought him enough pieces of the amulet, he would have been far more powerful. But Sun Li has the amulet, making him far more dangerous. With it, he can draw on the water dragon's power much faster. Unless you stop him soon, he will become invincible.
Why were the pieces of the amulet scattered across the Empire?
I did not want the amulet to fall into the hands of our enemy. When I realized the battle was lost, I shattered it into several pieces. I gave the pieces to my apprentices and told them to flee to the farthest reaches of the Empire. The core of the amulet was given to the young monk who fled with you. I knew the core alone would be enough for you to start discovering your true power. But anyone else would need to find all the pieces to use the amulet.
Why is it so powerful?
The amulet is a powerful tool, but it is only a tool.
Okay, so he just repeats that. Asking something else. I'm curious about the spirit monks in Dirge.
I would be honored to help you learn more about our order and your legacy.
You said I was born here at Dirge.
Many of our order were brought to us as children. Orphans we raised to serve our great mistress. But a few children are born here at the monastery. Both your mother and father were spirit monks. You were born right here in Dirge, and bathed in the sacred fountains, mere days before we were destroyed. Both your mother and father died in the attack, along with the rest of us who served the water dragon.
What were my parents like?
They were good people. Their love for each other was matched only by their devotion to the water dragon herself. Had they survived, you would have been raised here in Dirge. They would have instructed you from birth in the duties of a spirit monk. It is a tragedy you never knew them.
What did the spirit monks do exactly?
We served the water dragon as her guardians and protectors. We saw to the needs of her physical form, maintained Dirge, and honored her with worship and prayer.
Is that all?
We also served as shepherds for the dead. Most spirits came to Dirge in time, but sometimes a spirit was unable or unwilling to leave the mortal world behind. We would seek out these lost spirits. Those with unfinished business or those who had suffered traumatic deaths would need our help to reach Dirge. But now that the water dragon is gone, None of the spirits can find their way to Dirge, and those already here are trapped. The portal to the afterlife is sealed.
Tell me more about Dirge.
Dirge is a place between. It exists in both the mortal world and the spirit realm, and it leads to the underworld itself. It is a bridge between life and death. Once it was a holy place, but now it is defiled. Dirge has become a place of great evil and corruption, a corruption that has been growing for the past 20 years.
Alright, well I guess that's it. I think we should move on.
You are probably right. We must restore the Water Dragon's power before Sun Li gains full command of her powers.
And just like that, we learned a great deal about what really happened. That Death's Hand is just Sunken's spirit bound in Sun Li's armor. Which leads me to one very, very, very important question. And this is just a question I have. It's just a question I have. Recover your chi, focus on health, Abbott slots attacks, condemned spirits. So yeah, if you put Abbott on defense or on support, he restores all your stuff. He pretty much takes over all the other roles of your other supports.
Are you buying, selling, or both? I'm here to help with all your trading needs.
You can still talk to this guy if you want to. Yes, a Cyclone Gem. Okay, so this is basically a damage gem if you have not gone open palm or closed fist. You can just use this one with whatever. Among the first monks who developed the Tempest style, there was one who began to question the closed fist tenets of his order. Ostracized from his ruthless order, the monk sought new ways to harness the wind without relying upon closed fist chaos. By focusing his hatred for his old order into a handful of small stones, he managed to replicate the power of Tempest in those stones. A stone of this type surrounds the wearer in swirling winds that whip and tear at any who harm the stone's wielder. So this is for if you are not open palm or closed fist. Some like to play it neutral. You have to wait to the end of the game to get a damage shield. I'm sorry to tell you guys this. Burning Essence. So yeah, this is basically the gem we have. We already have this. This is Burning Essence channels elemental flame to sharpen the mind of its wearer and to strengthen the ability of channel key. Unlike similar gems that channel elemental fire, this essence gem burns up all aspects of the flame. Both creative and destructive, it may thus be used regardless of the wearer's philosophy. We have our other gems here we can use, and we have the Ward of the Unyielding Heart, +7. The body is the final arbiter of any choice. Our destinies are made in the world that our destinies are made. And warriors of this path seek to strengthen their bodies by any means. Through courage and strength, they seek their place as set out by heaven. So yeah, there we go. That's pretty much all we're going to get from Zenbu, as he really doesn't do much in terms of selling us. It's just overpriced. The Ritual of Binding. The ability to bind a spirit is one of the greatest honors that the Water Dragon has bestowed upon us. Therefore, we must always remember to treat this gift with the proper respect. When you bind the spirit, you become the guardian of that spirit. It is as though the spirit is your child. Though it is your duty to return the spirit to the Water Dragon for her judgment until you give the spirit over to her, you are fully responsible for that spirit. Since the spirit will obey your every command, you must always have the best interests of the spirit in mind while it is under your control. You must never command the spirit to do anything that might affect the Water Dragon's judgment of that spirit later on. And though it's the most common rule when binding spirits, I will repeat it again. Under no circumstances will you ever bind the spirit of a living person. Such acts are punishable by death and judgment at the hands of the Water Dragon herself, which is exactly what Liwa Sanhai did to his younger brother, son Ken. So yeah. Betrayer, John Woo. Okay, I keep. Let me get out of here. Okay, here we go. So yeah, basically, as oh well, this is kind of tough. As was previously stated by I think it was a written word that we saw. There were betrayers of the order. There were people who betrayed who played the spirit monk to the emperor. Zhang Wu and these two are betrayers, are two betrayers, or three betrayers. So yeah, well they are going at it. I forgot how hard this fight was. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I am in a world of trouble. I might have needed to put him on support because man, oh man, oh man. I mean, it auto saves, so I can just use that, but still, yeah, I'm gonna die. Yeah. I forgot how tough that fight was. Load most recent. Okay, we're gonna try this again with feeling. But yes, it's interesting that you would see someone wearing a monk uniform trying to take us down. Now I put Abbott on defense, on support, so that pretty much puts it all on me. Now how these three work is that one will use ice, one will use fire, and one will use tempest. These will make your life more difficult, but just bear in mind that you have this to use. Also, because you are a spirit, does not mean that your sword stats will work. Okay, let's swap this out. I want to show this off because I thought this was stupid when I found this out. About okay, I got spirit moves. I'm a spirit. That means that I should be able to damage these guys. Nope. They are immune.
Dire flame.
I can do this too. Nice stand back. So you want to try to take out the underlings first. We take out Shangwu. But yeah, this is one of those really hard fights that you are going to have to make expert use of stuff. And yeah, that's just kind of how it is. Now now as you saw with Zimbu, we got a we've essentially now seen 3 different gems that do the exact same thing. Heaven's Blessing, I think it's Whirling Tempest, and Cyclone. Each one is dedicated to people who play. Well, I don't say to people who play, but to individuals who want to play a different form of the game, where you either go neutral or good or evil. And this is one of the things that I kind of wish that looking back on it now was a bit of an annoyance for me, and that was that for all intents and purposes, you cannot learn every single attack in the game. As you can tell, you know, we didn't get to learn Whirling Tempest, and if you went those ways, you didn't get to learn Stone Immortal. You only get to learn it later on. You only get to learn grand total 3 of the 4 elements you can use: fire, ice, wind, and stone. And I understand the restriction is supposed to incentivize, you know, repeat playthroughs and go one way or the other. But I think what should incentivize repeat playthroughs shouldn't be special abilities. I think it should be the ability to play the game differently. You know, to do a different can I get out of this? Can I get out of this, please? Thank you. To do a different story, essentially. You can still play the way you want to, and if you want to go pure darkness, you can. You want to go pure light, you can. But I think that you shouldn't be restricted to this. Freedom of choice, that kind of thing. But hey, what do you think? I was going to slow you down because you're not kick the mess out of you. Because I move too fast for you to deal with. Sometimes you get to this point where you're just like, screw it, I was gonna make an example out of you. I don't know how to dodge that icicle. I think you just have to take the hit. There we go. Two can play this move. Okay, come on. Ah, using chi damage for the first time in the game. So we can get away with a Babbitt.
The guardian of this fountain is destroyed, and I weep for her. She was once one of our order, but lured by Lee's promises of wealth and power, she betrayed us.
Who was she?
This thing is the corrupted spirit of Xiang Wu. During the attack, she and several other spirit monks betrayed us by tainting the holy fountains with human blood. Long before the attack, Li sent spies to bribe some of our weaker members. When they tainted the fountains, the power sustaining us against the army vanished.
What happened to Xiang Wu?
After the battle, the Emperor executed Xiang Wu and the others, and he used the power of the water dragon to bind their spirits to the fountains.
That's awful.
Their crime was terrible, but they did not deserve this fate. They suffered endless torment from which they could never escape. Such is the power of the binding.
So what's so bad about the binding?
The binding is a sacred ritual of the spirit monks. We can draw on the power of the water dragon to bind a spirit to us. It is one of our tools for shepherding the dead. Even before Dirge was befouled, there were ghosts in the world. Some spirits would become lost in their journey here, or refuse to let go of the mortal world and go mad. If we found one of these restless ghosts, we could bind it to us and bring it to Dirge. Then we would release the spirit, so the water dragon could lead it into the afterlife.
So the Emperor did this to Xiang Wu?
The binding is a great gift from the water dragon, if used properly. But the power can be abused. The Emperor bound the traitors not to himself, but to a place. A spirit can never escape such a binding. It feels an inexorable pull, but it has nowhere to go. It feels a compulsion to obey, but is never given a command. The spirit twists and corrupts, and in its agony it goes mad. Binding a spirit to a place is a terrible crime for our order. The only thing worse is binding a living creature.
Is that how Sun Kin was bound to Lee's armor? Does it have that kind of power?
Binding the living condemns them to a fate worse than death. It forces the subject to obey and robs them of their free will. As a spirit monk, you must never do such a thing. The ability to bind spirits comes from the essence of the water dragon inside you. You may not have the power now, but one day you will be able to call upon it when needed. But this is not the time for lessons or instruction. The Guardian is dead, but you must place the seal on the fountain for it to be fully restored.
You receive Dirge Fountain Seal. Let's take a look at this real fast. So yeah, I also meant to pull this up. Small seal is made of ancient stone and carved with intricate designs. Though it appears lifeless, you can sense a powerful energy contained within it. So yeah, if you remember, when we first saw Death Sand try to kill us in the Lotus Septon Fortress, he was wielding Sun Kin's sword, two blades. That was your first hint. If you were paying attention to the earlier cutscene, which you might have forgot about, he was using Sun Kin's weapons. That was your first hint that Sun Kin was in the armor.
It worked! The fountain is restored, and the gates to the inner courtyard have opened.
And with that, we're going to call it a part here today. I've been Anansi, you've been awesome. In the next one, we will continue restoring Dirge and the fountains to their former glory. Deuces.